So today I'm going to be doing a quick review for you on the Anastasia Beverly Kills Contour Kit. I have the one in light medium, of course, just the regular one. This is the one you've heard tons about on YouTube already, I'm sure. It has 3 contour bronzing colors and 3 highlight colors. But yeah, I know you've heard probably tons about this palette already, and maybe tons of you already own it or already have it on your wish list, but I thought I'd give you my own take on the palette so far. I know I was a little surprised the first time I saw it in store, but this palette is quite small if you want to like compare it to the size of my head basically. And each of these isn't super big, like they are 3 grams each. They are a little smaller than most brushes that I have, so sometimes it can be a little hard to get the brush in, but I mean it's not too big of a deal. Also the matte black does get a little bit dusty, but I mean that's not especially important. It doesn't have a mirror, which makes it a little annoying for like travel or something, because this would have been a great place to put a big mirror, but it does make the palette a lot thinner and also probably saves a bit of money. Although I find them a little hard to get out without something to sort of wedge them out. Each of the pans are removable and they do have a magnetized back, so they stick in their little pods, so you can rearrange them if you want to. If you use one up, you can replace them. You can buy replacements from Anastasia. I think you can buy it on their website. I don't know if you can buy them anywhere else. And each of the pods, if you do sort of mix them up, each of them has all their information on the back. So you can see this one's vanilla. And yeah, you can kind of see that these are fairly small pods for a face powder. The actual palette, like I said, is quite thin, but a nice sturdy cardboard packaging. So I mean, you might not need an entire contour kit when you're going like traveling or anything like that, but I wouldn't be scared to bring this traveling. So yeah, I'm just going to go into each of the colors individually now. When you first buy the palette, this is the first shade in it. It's sort of a peachy, creamy highlight shade. On me, as you can see, or basically cannot see, it's pretty much my skin tone exactly. It might have a slight sheen to it, like no shimmer or anything, but it's a little bit more glowy than a regular face powder. I've used this under my eyes to brighten a bit, on my forehead to help clean up bronzer, and also as an eyeshadow. It would definitely be much more of a highlight on someone of a darker skin tone. I'm very, very pale. I'm like NC15 or something like that, so if you're darker than that, this would be a much better highlight, but it does have a bit of a peachy shade, so it can be quite nice under the eyes. Then there is Banana. I'm not going to take each of these out, but the Banana is right there. This is probably one of the most famous colors from this palette. As you can see, it's sort of yellow in tone. On me, it's a bit of an odd shade. I don't know if you can see. I know that a lot of people like to use this under their eyes to set their concealer because it's brightening, but on me it kind of looks yellow and it stays sort of yellow on my skin, and under certain lights it can look quite weird, so I've kind of stopped using it like that. I have been using it more as a highlighter, much more lightly than to set. It also does make a very nice creamy eyeshadow. And I did do a tutorial where I use this palette both on my face and on my eyes. So if you haven't seen that already and you're interested on how I used these shades as eyeshadows, I will link that down below. But yeah, I don't know about as an under eye setting powder for me. Maybe on darker skin tones that works quite nicely, or on more yellowy skin tones already. But I do find that the yellow can be quite nice for covering up some slight redness. Like on my cheeks and stuff, I've definitely used it like that. Then my favorite of the highlight shades is definitely Sand. It is the only shimmer color in the entire palette. It's not quite as creamy feeling. It's a little bit sort of chunky or chalky feeling. And again, you're not going to be able to see it very well. It's a very similar shade to my skin, but it makes a very nice subtle shimmery highlight. I really, really like this on the tops of my cheekbones and under the brow bone. Again, it's quite nice. So yeah, that's that there. Hopefully the sheen will pick up on camera. It's a very faint glitter. Like, it's not like a shimmer like something like Soft and Gentle is, but it definitely has a bit more of a glow to it than the rest of the palette. Then for the contour colors, first one we have is Java, and it is a bit of a warm but not orangey bronzer. So So that looks like swatched on my finger. And then that is that there. It is quite pigmented, and at least on my skin tone, I have to sheer it out quite a bit to make it work. I am wearing it today on my hairline and also very faintly on my cheeks. It also makes a really nice sort of crease color or a darker smoky lid color. And yeah, I don't feel like it's orangey as long as you don't put it on too heavily for pale skin. But if you do put on too much, it can get quite orangey looking. So just have to be aware of that if you do have pale skin like me. The other basically beloved color out of this palette is Fawn, which is the center shade. And as you can see, it is a much cooler brown color, almost a taupey brown. Again, this one isn't as creamy as some of the other colors. And it is not as pigmented, but in some ways that's a good thing. I like to use this one to contour. That's that right there. And that's what it looks like on my finger, much harsher. I'm wearing it as my contour today, and it is much more of a buildable color than the Java color. So I like to use that especially on my under my cheekbones and also on my nose. And I find that it gives a very nice, subtle, sort of sculpted shadow look. It's also really good if you're someone who's kind of scared of contouring, just because it is quite a light color and it is so buildable. You can go very sheer to begin and build up from there. And then finally, of course, the last color is this one here, which is quite a bit warmer than the other two. This is obviously the coolest one, but it is definitely even warmer than Java. And I'll just swatch that one. Again, it's very creamy and very pigmented. And that's what that one looks like there. It looks quite orange on my skin tone. I'll swatch Java next to it again. So that's Havana, and that's Java. It kind of swatches paler on my skin than the Java, but it's also a lot oranger. I'm honestly terrified of using this one on my skin, so I haven't done it a lot. But I have found that it is a really, really pretty crease color, especially on my skin tone. But yeah, I like this one more as sort of a warm up the face bronzer. I use it sort of in place of a blush just because it is more orangey than Bronze and Brownie on me. But it does sheer out very nicely. Is it there? I don't know if you can really see. But yeah, it's a very pretty color. It's just a lot scarier to use on my particular skin tone and color. But yeah, overall, this is a really nice palette. I mean, if you're not the type of person who's going to use a whole contour kit, you're just not interested in contouring, then obviously this isn't the sort of thing that is for you. But if you really like the idea of playing around with contour and highlight and you want a few different colors to do that with, especially if you're a couple shades darker than me, then I think this is a really fun palette to get and play around with. If you have the chance, definitely hit up a Sephora, or I don't know if they sell it anywhere else. But head into Sephora and swatch the colors on you just to see how many work on you and if you think they're the type of colors you would work with. Yeah, like I said, I really like the palette and I don't really regret the purchase. I think it's really great, even though there are a couple colors that don't really work for me. I like having them and I definitely will find a way to use them. So yeah, too long didn't read. If you are the type of person who likes contouring and bronzing and maybe you don't have a lot of these things, or maybe you're just really interested in starting to contour and bronze and you don't have a lot of bronzers or contour shades or highlighters at your disposal already, I think this is a really great palette to get. I think it was $52 Canadian, so maybe $50, $45 American, I can't remember. And for that you get 6 colors to play around with, which I think is a pretty great deal. If you're not into the contouring, or if you already have a lot of contouring and bronzing shades, I would probably say either skip it or check it out at Sephora, make sure the colors are for you, something that you don't already have, and something that would work on your skin. But these are some really great, mostly matte colors that I also find work really nicely as matte neutral eyeshadows. So yeah, pretty nice double purpose product in my opinion. Let me know down below if you have used this, swatched this, returned it, I don't know. I want to know what your thoughts were on the Anastasia contour kit, or any of the other contour kits out right now. I know that pretty much every brand has come out with one recently, so let me know which ones you've tried and which ones you loved, which ones you hated. That would be really interesting to know just because I'm having a lot of fun with the contouring recently. So yeah, let me know your opinions and thoughts and whatever down below. And I'm going to stop rambling now. So don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you in my next one. Bye!